Today I have something special with me, the new Tourmodular from AGV. We are going to review the helmet extensively, and that's why we have sent our rider back on the road again, and he came back with a lot of interesting data, so keep on watching. Hi, my name is Liv from Champion Helmets. Before we start our review today, I would like to go through a number of general points first. The AGV Tourmodular is a modular helmet from the Italian brand AGV, which is known for its quality helmets. The helmet is positioned as a budget-friendly alternative to the AGV Sport Modular, which is the only full carbon modular helmet in the market. However, the Sport Modular is also one of the most expensive modular helmets in the market. AGV is now bringing a more budget-friendly variant to the market with this Tourmodular. The helmet offers all the bells and whistles you would expect from a quality brand modular helmet. Think of a max vision pinlock lens in the box, the possibility to fully integrate a communication system, 3 helmet shells, and so on. But more on that later. With the Tourmodular, the AGV wants to compete with the best modular helmets in the market. Think of competitors such as the Shoei Neotech 2, the Schubert C5, the HGC Arfa 90S Carbon, and some other top models. The Tourmodular has a starting price of €549 or around $620 which is a bit similar to its direct competitors, and also a lot more budget friendly than the AGV Sport Modular. The AGV Tourmodular is the first helmet from AGV that has been tested according to the strict new European ECE 2206 certification. AGV also claims to have launched an exceptionally quiet and well-ventilated helmet. As you are used from us, we are going to test this extensively on the road, so keep on watching to see the results from our road test later. Now, let's start with the review. First of all, let's start with the material. The AGV Tourmodular has a carbon aramid fiberglass outer shell. This mixture of fiberglass and carbon fiber not only makes the helmet strong, but it also has to keep it light. The helmet comes in 7 sizes and 3 shell sizes. The number of 3 outer shell sizes is great, because this ensures that the helmet stays compact around the head. This is not only safer, but it also looks nicer. The helmet has 2 EPS inner shells. This ensures that the helmet is prepared for different types of impact, and it provides an exceptionally good impact absorption, which makes the helmet very safe. We also see that the chin guard is designed in such a way that it avoids unintentional opening. In addition, the shape of the helmet has been designed in such a way that in an event of an incident, it prevents direct impact to the collarbone, which is often a vulnerability for a rider. Like the AGV Sport Modular, the Tourmodular is also prepared for a communication system. This means that you can install the module speakers and microphone and immediately start communicating with other riders or listen to music. The intercom system for which this helmet is optimized is the AGV Inside Communication System made by Cardo. This system is based on the Cardo Pack Talk, which is Cardo's flagship model and offers all kinds of quality features such as mesh, high quality sound, strong battery, water resistance, music sharing, and more. Another strong point of the Tourmodular is that it's PJ certified. This means that it is also approved as an open face helmet, and you can therefore ride with an open chin guard. I regularly speak to customers in the store who think that you can ride with an open chin guard with any modular helmet. This is of course not the case. A helmet must be PJ certified, and only then you can ride with the chin guard open. We generally only see this with the better modular helmets. If we look at its score on material, we see that the helmet is made of fiberglass and it comes in 3 shell sizes. As a result, the helmet scores 3.5 stars for material. But what does this mean when we compare the helmet to its competitors? If we look at the competitors, we see that the AGV Tourmodular scores averagely. The AGV Sport Modular and the X-Lite X1005 Ultra Carbon scores the best in this area with their 4 stars. This is because both helmets are entirely made of carbon and they have 3 shell sizes, where most of the competitors have combined carbon with fiberglass, or they come in only 2 shell sizes. The Shark Evo GT and the Nolan N105 Plus score 2.5 stars in this section, and therefore they have the lowest score. This is because both helmets are made of polycarbonate and they come in only 2 shell sizes. All in all, the AGV Tourmodular scores well on the material part. Okay, now that we know this, let's move on to the next part, the weight. As a rider, you naturally want your helmet to be as light as possible. This gives a nice riding experience, and in particular with touring helmets, a lighter helmet prevents fatigue in the neck on longer rides. AGV claims a weight of 1620 grams, but when we put a size M on our scale, we saw that the AGV Tourmodular weighs 1665 grams. The main question here is, how does this compare to its competitors? If we look at the weight, we see that the AGV Tourmodular scores averagely. The AGV Sport Modular stands out in this part. Thanks to its carbon shell, it only weighs 1341 grams, which makes it by far the lightest modular helmet we have ever weighed. A higher score on the weight from the AGV Tourmodular was to be expected. The helmet is and remains the more budget-friendly variant of the Sport Modular. AGV therefore had to make some compromises when it comes to the weight. The HGC Arfa 90S Carbon also scores very strongly in this part with only 1520 grams. All in all, the AGV Tourmodular earns a score of 3 stars with its decent 1665 grams. Okay, great. Let's move on to the next part, which is the visor. The visor of the AGV Tourmodular is called the GT3 visor. With the AGV Tourmodular, we see a simplistic visor mechanism of a reasonable quality. The mechanism pulls the visor tight against the shell. This should keep out the wind and the noise even better. Another quality detail we see is this rubber inner edge to which the outer visor connects. With some competitors we see that this is made of PVC, because PVC is cheaper than real rubber. Furthermore, the Tourmodular comes standard with a Pinlock Max Vision 120 lens in the box. This is the best kind of Pinlock lens. A Pinlock lens prevents fogging of the visor so that you always have a clear view. We always like it when manufacturers include the Pinlock lens in the box, and especially if it's a Max Vision 120 Pinlock lens. Furthermore, the Tourmodular has an integrated sun visor which you can operate with this slider on the side. It is good to see that it slides far down. This is nice with a low-hanging sun. Furthermore, the visor mechanism offers the possibility to lock the visor put, which is nice if you ride in the city. Now the question remains, how does the AGV Tourmodular stack up to its competitors? If we put all competitors in a graph, we see that the Tourmodular scores well again. The showy Neotech 2 takes the lead in this case with its excellent score of 5 stars. This is because the helmet has the best visor mechanism on the market. Furthermore, it is immediately noticeable that the roof boxer carbon scores far below average and does not really compete in this part. With a well-deserved score of 4 stars, the AGV Tourmodular scores well on the visor. Excellent! Now it's time to move on to the next part of this video, the road test. Before we look at how the helmet performs on the road, first a short explanation on how we collect our data. On the left you see a white thermometer that shows the inside temperature in the helmet. It is connected to a sensor in the helmet. At the top in the middle you can see the decibel meter, which is connected to a microphone that is placed near our rider's ear. This registers the noise as our rider hears it. On the right we see a phone that displays the wind speed and the outside temperature. This is connected to an anemometer wind meter that is mounted on our bike. In the middle you can see the dashboard of the bike with the speed of our rider on it. Okay, great! We start the road test today with the noise isolation. Good to know is that modular helmets are often noisier than full-face helmets. This is because they have cracks and seams at the chin guard. Along these cracks, wind and sound enter the helmet. At the same time, however, we see that system helmets are becoming increasingly quieter. For example, a few months ago we measured a new record for the HGC Arfa 90S Carbon as the quietest modular helmet ever measured. The question is, of course, how our Tourmodular will do today. The AGV Tourmodular gave us an average of 99 decibels, but how good is this really? Let's take a look at its competitors. If we list all the competitors, we see that the Tourmodular has an excellent score and is even a decibel quieter than the Sport Modular. AGV has managed to make the helmet even quieter. The difference of 1 decibel may not sound very exciting, but every decibel at this type of values make a significant difference and is notable for the rider. The HGC Arfa 90S Carbon, with its 79 decibels, it is still the quietest helmet we have ever measured. The average of 99 decibels makes the AGV Tourmodular one of the quietest helmets on the market, and with this result the helmet earns a well-deserved score of 4 stars. Great! Let's move on to the next part, the ventilation. For ventilation, we also tested the helmet on the road. How well does the AGV Tourmodular ventilate? Inside the helmet we have a value of 10 degrees Celsius. On the right side on our phone we see that this is also the outside temperature. This means that the inside and the outside temperature are the same. Again, the question remains, what does this result mean to its competitors? If we look at its competitors, we see that there are two competitors that do better, the Shoei Neotech 2 and the Shark Evo GT. These helmets were both 1 degree cooler than the outside temperature. We don't really see any major outliers on this criterion. All helmets are fairly evenly matched. Only the AGV Sport Modular and the Roof Boxer were a bit warmer than the outside temperature. All in all, we see that the Tourmodular also comes out fine on ventilation, and this gives it a nice 4 stars. Okay, now we arrived at the only subjective part of our road test, which we call comfort, but which is so much more than just comfort. In this part of the road test, subjective criteria are assessed, such as comfort, the wind resistance, the finishes, and the overall feel of the helmet. These are criteria that are difficult to capture in hard data, and that's why for this part we rely on the more than 15 years of riding experience of our test rider. Our test rider has also tested all other helmets and can therefore make the comparison like no other on how the AGV Tourmodular stacks up to its competitors. First of all, he indicated that the inner liner feels solid. The inner liner has a high quality feel to it. An example he gave is a rid toe material that is used into the lining. The bottom side of the liner also functions very well in keeping out wind and noise, according to our rider. Furthermore, our rider commented that the helmet feels comfortable and light while riding and easily cuts through the wind. The AGV Tourmodular is wind tunnel tested. Here the wind tunnel testing of this helmet really pays off. Where many of its competitors have been tested in simulation software to optimize aerodynamics, which is a cheaper form of testing, the Tourmodular has been wind tunnel tested, which really does lead to better aerodynamics. Another small detail that came up with our rider was the possibility to personalize the liner, especially if your cheeks can be wrapped a bit tighter. The patented system is ideal. Furthermore, we see that the helmet is equipped with a stainless steel ratchet closure. Our rider added everything up and concluded that the Tourmodular earned a nice score of 4 stars on comfort. But how good is this when we look at its competitors? If we look at its competitors, we see that the Tourmodular again scores averagely. Quite logical when you consider that these are the very best modular helmets available today. The Shoei Neotech 2 and the Schubert C5 stand out in this section with a perfect score of 5 stars. The Roof Boxer earns the least in this part with its minimum score of 2 stars. Alright, we're now coming to the end of this road test. We have seen that the AGV has managed to bring a worthy, more budget-friendly variant of the Sport Modular to the market. The Tourmodular scored averagely on almost all parts compared to the very best modular helmets, and the helmet had an excellent score on the noise isolation. The AGV Tourmodular scores a champion helmet score of a 7.9 at this moment. With this end result, the helmet ranks in 5th place with its competitors, and this is not bad at all. The competition that beat the Tourmodular are a lot more expensive, and therefore we should also expect more from them. Do you want an excellent high-end modular helmet that is also affordable? Then this helmet might be something for you. Do you want to know more about its competitors, or are you curious about the nice discount bundles that we have for this Tourmodular? Take a look at the helmet in our shop championhelmets.com. If you found this video useful, don't forget to subscribe on our channel. Thanks for watching. I'm Liv from Champion Helmets, and I will see you next time.